sky. Made a promise I could not deny. Through the fire, through the rain, through the sacrifice and pain. Far from home, yet standing strong, holding hope when nights were long. Every step, every scar made me who I am today. And though the battles changed my life, they never stole my soul. The courage of a warrior still lives inside my bones. We are the legacy, the voices of the brave, standing on the promises of every life we gave. Through duty, honor, sacrifice, our story still remains. We are the legacy, and our light will never fade. Some carry memories no one sees, silent battles on their knees, but every tear and every fight helped another find the light. Now we gather hand in hand, sharing stories across this land, passing hope from heart to heart, a legacy that won't depart. The uniform may be laid aside, but the mission still goes on. Through every story that we tell, a new generation grows strong. We are the legacy, the voices of the brave, standing on the promises of every life we gave. Through duty, honor, sacrifice, our story still remains. We are the legacy, and our light will never fade. Hey, from the battlefield to the written page, our stories echo through the age. For every veteran, every name, the world will know why we came. And when the final roll is called, we'll stand united, proud and tall, because our service never ends. It lives through every life we made. We are the legacy, the guardians of the flame, bound together by our service, forever honored in his name. Through duty, honor, sacrifice, our stories lead the way. We are the legacy, and our light will never fade. Sworn to duty, called to serve, bound by honor, remembered forever. We are the legacy.
Yes, 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 yes. I absolutely love that song.
I do
Good
too.
evening. Good evening. Welcome to My Heart on Pages. I am your host, Dr. LaQuita Parks, CEO and founder of PayProV Publishing. And I am super excited to have my next guest here, who is a contributing author for Everybody Has a Story and Everybody Has a Story. And this is Tonya Henderson. And the song that you guys just heard was called We Are the Legacy. And it is in honor of our veterans. We are spearheading our veterans campaign, our Veterans Legacy Project, which is our fourth anthology. So if you're a veteran or you know somebody, a veteran or veteran family, please reach out. We would love to have your story. Reach out to me for more information. So hello, Tonya.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good, good. So tell everybody who you are and where you're from, and let's just get right into it.
Okay. My name is Tonya Henderson. I'm from small town back home called Nashville, Georgia.
Nashville, Georgia. You know, I never heard of Nashville, Georgia until I read your story. I was like,
Uh-huh.
did she mean Nashville, Tennessee?
Everybody say that.
I was like, I didn't know there was a Nashville, Georgia. Now I know there's a Martin Luther King in every city. Every
Oh,
city
yes.
has a
Oh,
Martin Luther
yeah.
King.
Oh,
But I've
yeah.
never heard of Nashville. So tell us the name of your chapter.
Family Secret is the name of my chapter.
Family secrets. Wow. And I know there are a lot of secrets. So what inspired you to share your story?
Um, to be honest with you, I wanted to share my story because I feel like my story can help other people. Once you read my story and you're gonna be like, how did she survive this? If it can help someone else out, that is why I told my story.
You know what, when I read, there are a lot of stories in this book. And so for those of you who are listening, who will catch the replay or who's listening live, when you buy the book, and you have to buy the book, there are some of the stories have disclaimers, and your story is one of them because of the subject. And listen, if you're in a situation, if you're being in an abusive situation, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, sexual, seek help. Help is available. So we
Right,
wanted to let you know there is a disclaimer and there's a trigger warning. So just to let you know, but the story is amazing. And I, first of all, let me just say thank you so much for being brave enough and transparent enough to share your story, because a lot of people can't, a lot of people won't. So thank
right.
you for doing that.
Oh,
So
you're welcome.
um, what was the hardest part about you writing your chapter? Because I know we've had conversations before, and I'm like, I know some things are hard to read. And I
Yeah.
know if the story was hard to read, I can imagine how hard it was to write. So, what was the hardest part about writing your chapter?
I think reliving it all over again was the hardest part. For me writing my chapter. Um, that to me was the hardest part for me. Reliving it all over again.
Mhm.
Um, bringing back the old memories and stuff that actually happened to me. So I think that was the hardest part for me.
And you know what? And I can relate to that. I had a conversation with one of the ladies in the book, and her chapter was hard too. And she's gone through a lot. And one of the things we talk about is therapy. There are a lot of people who don't believe in therapy. I know
Mm,
people who say, oh, you just need to go to church. Well, I agree with church too.
right.
However, I believe in therapy. I am a proponent of therapy. And
Yeah.
sometimes you gotta have somebody to talk to who is qualified to help you navigate some of the things that's going on. So
Right.
as you were writing your story, and having to relive those horrible moments, was it important for you to talk to somebody so that you wouldn't stay in the emotion of it? Did you talk to somebody, or was it important for you to do that?
It was very important for me to do that, and I'm also in therapy myself. So I actually called my therapist up, and I talked to her about it a little bit, because it did trigger some things. Again, having to relive that. So of course I did. I actually called my therapist like the next day, and I had a conversation with her. Um, to try to ease it off, try to take some of it away from me, the pain away from me. So yeah, it was very important to actually talk to someone.
Was she supportive in you writing your story?
She was very supportive of me writing my story because to me that's a form of healing.
Hmm.
And also in her eyes, it was a form of me healing, saying that, I came through this, I can go through this and keep going no matter what comes my way. So yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with that, because some people feel like, I don't want to tell my story, I want to share my story.
Right.
It's too hard. And
Right.
I feel the opposite. If you share it, and yes, it's hard. It's hard. But I believe that when you get it out, and I'm a living witness of that, when you get it out, it's gonna be hard coming out. But as once you get it out, you don't have to pack it. So it's unpacking it. So once you unpack that, you don't have to pack it again. You don't ever have to
Right.
pack it again. So that's what I love about storytelling and sharing your story, not just because, oh, you know what, I want to write a story just for me. No, it's because there are people who have gone through, who are going through the same
Right.
things that you've gone through, and they haven't come out on the other side yet. They're
Right.
in the thick of it and don't know how they can get through it. So a story like yours is motivation and encouragement to show, okay, you know what, she's gone through the same hell I'm going through, and if she can
Right.
make it out, I can too. So sharing, and it's healing because you get to get it out, you get it out, and
Right.
not hold space where it's not your space to hold. You didn't cause
Right.
it, you didn't cause it.
Right.
So um as you were writing your story, and you talk, I know you have some other projects that's going to be coming out soon.
Yeah.
When you were sharing your story, from the adult you, and sharing, talking about the child you, I'm going to say the baby you, as you look back at that person, what would you say to her now? What would you say to that little girl you, now that you've come through it and you know what you know? What would you say to that little girl who's in the thick of it?
I would probably say to her that it's not her fault. And I think, and I also would tell her that she didn't have to take on so much responsibility as a child, because it
Mhm,
wasn't her um responsibility to do that, to
mhm,
take on so
mhm,
many things as a child. And you let her know that it definitely was not her fault. She didn't cause any of this. That's what I would basically tell her. And also to learn to love herself. You know, that's strong advice that I can give her. Love to learn to love herself, because back then I didn't. I didn't know exactly what that was. So
mm. And how did that shape who you are now? So, a lot of times when we go through things as children, we carry that burden, and it shapes us into who we are until we realize, or until we, with therapy or however, until we realize that, you know what, I don't have to carry this burden. It's not my burden to carry, and I don't have to carry it
right.
anymore. So how did you navigate that to get to here today?
Um. Again, I had to learn to forgive the people that actually did cause, did all the hurtful things to me. To me, that was number one.
Hmm.
Because if I didn't forgive them, I would have just kept holding on to me. It would have done me. It wouldn't have done me any good to hold on to hate, or being mad at them. So I had to learn to forgive them, and it made me a better person. It made me a better mom for sure.
Hmm.
Because I love my kids. My kids are my world, and I protect them still now, even though they are adults. I still protect them, and so it made me to be a better mom,
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
better mom.
So how did it shape you with, what were some of the things that you said growing, when you started raising your children? Because I remember, I went through a lot when I was growing up, and my mom was an alcoholic. And I
Yeah,
remember saying, I'm not gonna, these are ththings I didn't like the way this
right,
felt when I don't like to be yelled at. Don't raise your voice at me. And
right,
I didn't like that. So I tried to do everything opposite. I didn't drink. I didn't, yell and scream and cuss my children. I didn't
right,
like the way that felt. So I said, I'm not gonna do that to my children.
yeah,
So what were
right.
some of the things you was like, I'm not gonna do this?
I didn't. First of all, I never touched drugs, because that was like the main downfall for
Hmm.
for my mom. So I say
Hmm.
I would never do that. I would never hit my kids. It took me a minute to just spank my kids. My aunt then was like, "You have to spank them." I'm like, "No, I don't want to spank my kids," because
Hmm.
I didn't want it. You know what I'm saying? Even though I know it's not a form of the abuse that I went through, it just took me a long time to do that. I didn't want
Hmm.
to yell and scream at them, or either hit them, or spank them, or anything
Hmm.
like that. But I chose not to drink.
Hmm.
I don't smoke. I never did drugs in my life. So me watching my mom do all that, I was like, no, there's no way I'm gonna be like that. So I chose a different path.
Wow. And you grew up fast. You had to grow up
Yeah,
fast.
I had to grow up fast. Yeah.
So there's a short part in your story that I want to read, and it's just a little part because you guys are gonna have to get the book. Okay, you're gonna have to buy the book. It says, growing up. Growing up, every child wants to feel loved by their parents.
Right.
Unfortunately for me, that was not the case. I'm sure many people can remember their childhood, but I cannot tell you much about mine because it did not feel like a childhood at all. All I
Right.
ever wanted was to feel like I belonged somewhere and for my parents to love me. I remember watching other kids as their families sang and danced with them while I would look up at the sky with tears running down my face, asking the Lord, why me? I'm only a child. And God whispered, because you are going to change the history of your family.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you've changed the history of your family?
I think I have. I think that by writing this book, me and my family have became closer than what we was before, and I think I'm changing history. I think that they're very proud of me. I think they're overjoyed for what I have, what I'm doing, and so yeah, I think I have. I think I
Okay,
have.
good. So how has the reception been for your book? What has your family said now that you're a best-selling author?
My family, they are very excited. They're very proud of me. They're very happy. That's all I get is that I'm so proud of you. You know what I'm saying? Like you did that. So yeah, so they're very happy for me. I can
Oh,
honestly say that.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm so glad. So how has this story and this is just a piece of your story. This
right.
is just a piece. I remember we've been kind of working together for a little while now, and I remember a couple of years ago when you sent the first part of your story, and I remember calling you saying, "Did this happen? Did this
Yeah.
really happen?" And because again, and I think I said then, I know this was hard to write.
Oh
I
yeah.
know it was hard to write. And one of the things that I do is try and help people to tell their stories and remove the emotions. So
Right.
if you're sharing your story and you're so emotional you can't get it out, your audience is not
Right.
going to understand what you're trying to say. And so
Right.
as we were going through, your story is a heavy story. There are some
Right.
stories in this book that are heavy, but what I like about it is it doesn't stay heavy.
Yeah.
It doesn't stay heavy. So and we want our readers to know that there is that the person that they're reading about, there was some breathing room in there you know
Yeah.
so I like that you talk about where you are. And there are some people who can't share their stories at all. I remember my uncle, he's passed away now, he's a veteran, and I remember calling him saying, hey, I would love to know your story. And he just said, his exact words were, babe, he always said, babe. He said, babe, I love what you're doing, but I cannot share my story. He was like,
Right.
so much happened to me, I can't share it. And
Right.
unfortunately, and while I understand, unfortunately, it breaks my heart that he died with all that heaviness inside and didn't give his family an opportunity to know him because he held on to that hurtful stuff. So I again, I'm so grateful that you are where you are and that you are, you've been able, whether it's through therapy, through, marriage, through whatever, it's been a positive impact that has caused you to be able to not stay there. Because sometimes
Right.
we become a product of our environment,
Right.
and I know
I,
you've seen that.
yeah.
So what is it that you want readers to take away from your story?
I just want them to know that no matter what they're going through, that they can make it and don't give up. Keep fighting to the end, and just learn to love themselves first before they can love anybody else, and just keep thriving. Don't give up.
Just
Don't
keep
give up.
thriving. Don't give up. I love that. So the title of the book is Everybody Has a Story. And here we go again. Everybody has a story, and everybody has a story. These beautiful, beautiful authors on here. So beautiful, so beautiful, so beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. There is Miss Tonya right there.
Yeah.
So, so one of the questions I want to ask. So we know everybody has a story. So we're talking about everybody from a communal standpoint, and then we're talking about everybody from a physical, emotional, psychological standpoint. What does everybody has a story mean to you?
Mm. That's a great question. Uh, to me, that means, like you just said, like the title basically says, everybody has a story, period. And people should just tell their story. Like I
Mhm.
remember one thing you said to me when I first did an interview with you, and you said, "Don't let no anybody else tell your story, because if you leave this world today, they're not going to be able to tell your story the way you can tell your story."
Amen.
And that stuck with me. So that's when you say that title, that means that everybody, and I'm pretty sure everybody in the world has a story. They just got to
Mhm.
get it out there, and they
Mhm.
got to, write about their story, because you don't want nobody else telling you. Because, like you said, nobody else can tell your story the way you can while you are here. So,
Exactly. Exactly. And you know what? And I still live by that. I live
right,
by that because people will try and tell your story, but they're telling it from their perspective. Nobody's going to
right,
tell your story because you walked it, you lived it. So
right,
that's why this is important. This everybody has a story. Is the visionary Inez is the Miss Inez is the visionary, and she would always say when we were doing projects, we were talking. She would be like, "Girl, everybody has a story. Everybody has a story," and she's a fashion designer, so she makes
mm,
clothes, and so she sees from a physical standpoint every single body's story has a story, and
right,
nobody can tell it, no matter what you are, tall, short, large, small, black, white, Hispanic, whatever,
right,
polka dot, you have a story, and your story, we can't be hoarders of our story. And
right,
and that's the thing, because people's like, oh, no, 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 no. I'm not getting ready to tell my story. I
right,
remember I remember a friend of mine's husband passed, and we were sitting at her table, and she's passed since then. But we were sitting at her table, and somebody was like, you're a publisher, and she said it kind of not in a, are you a
right,
publisher? I said, I am.
right,
So publish people's stories. I just don't see how people could do that. I couldn't do it. And I said, well, everybody won't, but there is always somebody waiting on the other end of your story so that they can get healing from their story.
right,
And the only stories that we cannot heal from are the ones we don't share.
right,
So if I'm not sharing, then the other person who needs to hear from me can't heal, and neither can I, because
right.
sickness encamps around what you keep on the inside. You can believe that. You can
Yeah,
believe that.
I believe that.
You're like,
That
okay, that's why people always like, you guys, you just have to let it go, because it builds inner turmoil. So
right,
you have to share. Now, it will everybody share? No, they
no,
won't. They won't. There are people, and it's not even saying publish your story. You don't have to publish a book, but you do have to share your story if you want to get it out, if you want to heal it.
right.
And that's the start. So as we close, I have one more question from you. Um, when when people say to you, when people say somebody's be ye blessed, when people say you're an author, what does that mean to you? Best-selling author at that.
No, I
Hey,
would,
best-selling author, make sure you and own that. There are some people that say,
yeah,
oh, how you become a bestseller? Own it, because
yeah.
we got the receipts. So own that. So what does that mean to you?
Oh, that means the world to me. Like, I'm still in shock because I can't believe that somebody like me from a little small town from Nashville, Georgia, actually is a best-selling author, and it's just I'm still in shock. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm saying like, wow, I can't believe that this actually happened to me. So it means the world to me. You know what I'm saying? Just being able to be a part of something that special. I mean, I'm still in shock. I'm just gonna be honest.
And you know what? You should be very, very proud. You should be very proud of yourself, because I'm going to tell you, there are 8 billion plus people on this planet, and there the all 8 billion people won't tell their stories. There's a small, even though there are a gazillion books, there's still a small amount of people who have actually taken the time to take pen to paper and share their stories. Now, there are those who took pen to paper and they wrote their stories, but that's where they stopped.
Right.
They didn't go any further. They didn't complete the thought. So when you complete the thought and you think about publishing stories, when you think about it in the grand scheme of things and how many billions of people are on the planet, think about how many people within those, 1%, how many people have written their stories and how many people have written multiple stories.
Right.
So you have people like me. I've written 15 plus stories of my own that I've published. So can you imagine multiple? So when you think about that, it's not that many people that have published books out of 8 billion.
That is true.
So when you think about that, you're a part of an exclusive organization of people who have published their books. And you one step further, you're also a best-selling author. So a lot of people who have published can't say that. So that alone is reason to celebrate. And speaking of celebrations, I am so excited to be able to see you on Saturday when we have our book launch event, because this is going to be more than a book launch. This is going to be an opportunity for networking, an opportunity to meet the authors, meet the contributing authors of Everybody Has a Story. It's an opportunity to meet the publisher, me, and the visionary. So we're going to have a really good time. And if you come to the event, you'll get a chance to engage with the authors and hear their stories in person. Hear their stories in person, picture opportunities. So it's going to be great. So if you're in the area, if you're in the Forest Park area and you want to come to the event, send us a message and we can get you in. So Tonya, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you. How can they reach you?
So you can reach me by email, which is TonyaDean44@gmail.com, or you can call me or text me at 229-269-1445. And I'm also on Facebook. Me and my husband share Facebook. So. I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok. So if you have any questions, just reach out to me.
Okay. So, and here we have TonyaDean44@gmail.com. And listen, if you want to purchase a book, email Tonya. You can reach out to Tonya and you can get an autographed copy, get your own autographed copy of Everybody Has a Story. Everybody Has a Story. The book is available in hardcover. It's also available in paper cover, and it's available through ebook. So if you want to reach out, if you want to, an autographed copy from Tonya, email her at TonyaDean44@gmail.com. All right. So Tonya, thank you so much. I tell you, it has been a plump, pleasing pleasure, better than a triple decker peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. I am your host, Dr. LaQuita Parks. And listen, I'm going to tell you, if you have a story, and I know that you do, and you are interested in being a part of an anthology, if you're a veteran and you want to share your story, or family of veteran, you want to share your story, please reach out to us. Whatever you do, don't hoard your story. Don't be a hoarder of your story, because 100% of everybody living and dead has a story, and there is somebody out there waiting on your story. So until next time, this has been My Heart on Pages with Tonya Henderson. Thank you. And Tonya, I will see you and your husband on Saturday. I am looking forward to it.
Yes, I am too.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Have a great one.
Hello and welcome to My Heart on Pages. I'm your host, Dr. LaQuita Parks, author, publisher, and founder of Pay Pro V Publishing, where we take stories from a thought to realization. This podcast is a sacred space for storytellers, overcomers, and visionaries who have chosen to turn pain into purpose and purpose into legacy. Here, we have real conversations about faith, resilience, healing, and the power of putting your heart on paper. Because your story is not random, it is intentional, and it deserves to be told. Welcome to My Heart on Pages.